All right, so there's some reports that have been coming out that the Cleveland Browns are done with DeAndre Hopkins. In fact, in a report, it says Browns didn't have any intentions of signing DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know about that. Like, why did they bring him in? But they did it. And it was interesting. One of the first videos of this channel that popped, and I mean popped in a big way, got a lot of views. Thank you so much for the support. Continue subscribing or consider subscribing to this channel. We're a couple weeks in now. It's going really well. We're having a blast with it. It's not our first channel, but we love it, and we love the small media market teams, Cleveland being one of those. We want to show love to the little guy. And in this one, we're going to talk about why the Cleveland Browns are better. I know it sounds weird, but how they could be better without DeAndre Hopkins. And we're going to jump into that. But I first want to talk about how interesting I find it that they never had intentions of signing him. Mary Kay Cabot said they really didn't have any intentions of going out there and signing Hopkins. So why? I got one name for you. Elijah Moore. That is the one name that I have for you where it's like, yep, they never had intentions. Let me go ahead and talk to you about the starting 3 wide receivers that the Cleveland Browns are going to deploy, and then we'll talk more about them, why you're better off without Hopkins, and we'll even go into the second layer of the depth chart and talk about growth for younger players that you don't want to stunt. All right, so your number 1 wide receiver going into the year from last year is Amari Cooper. I don't know what it is with people that say Amari Cooper is no good. Every year, it feels like people are talking about how Amari Cooper is not going to be good anymore. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, all he's done is produce every single year, and not at a ridiculous level, but he's just produced. His first 2 years in Oakland, all right, when he played full seasons, here's his numbers from full seasons in total yards: 1,070, 1,153. Then he went 4 years where he was dramatically unhealthy. 2019, he put up 1,189 yards. 2020, 1,114. 2021, 865. 2022, with the Browns, 1,160 yards. So don't sit here and tell me Amari Cooper isn't going to produce. He's going to produce. He will produce. And then you look at the next guy, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, I don't know, and I can't understand what happened with him in the New York Jets. For the Jets to give up on him after 2 years, I understand there was some drama and there were things like that with horrible, and I would like to repeat, horrible quarterbacks and a system that didn't want to use him. You have this guy who is quick. He is a good route runner. He is a second-round pick for a reason, almost a first-round pick. He was number 34 overall. And you have this guy that puts together modest numbers. In 2021, he had a really good graded out season in 11 games. In just 11 games, 43 catches on 77 targets, 540 yards, and 5 tutties, 5 touchdowns. Like, this dude can play. He can play. And then you have my favorite Cleveland Browns wide receiver, because I am a Michigan fan, in Donovan Peoples-Jones. He can be a punt returner, but hopefully if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's not going to be returning punts because he's going to be doing so well in the receiving game. And last year, he kind of had his breakout campaign. He had his 61 catches, 839 yards, almost 840 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he started showing you Cleveland Browns fans how good he can be. He was drafted in the 6th round out of Michigan. And I remember when he was going out, the whole time he was at Michigan, I'm like, this guy should be a second-round talent. This guy should be a first-round talent with his speed, with his hands, with his size at 6'2", this 205. This guy should be a second or even first-round talent, but he didn't ever quite live up to it. And I think part of that was the system that he was in under Harbaugh. But other parts of it, there has to be an understanding that maybe he just was late to the party. like a late bloomer. People develop at different rates. He's only 24 years old, and it's his third year in the NFL, or fourth year, sorry, in the NFL. Like, wow, what are we talking about here? The dude is young. He's a good wide receiver. So, they will say that we got Elijah Moore. We're good. But they also have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You put Elijah Moore in the slot, you put Cooper and Peoples-Jones on the outside, you have a good receiving core. Not to mention that you have 2 third-round picks with Cedric Tillman and David Bell of the last 2 years that are sitting there waiting to get the opportunity. David Bell proved that he's not like the fastest human on earth. He's out of Purdue, and he was one of those guys that I had as a tabbed as a second round pick, really good. And then the combine happened, and he ran a shockingly slow 40 time. And you're like, oh, bummer. He's not as quick as we thought he was. He's just not as quick as we thought he was. But here's what he is. He's a polished route runner. He has proven that he can beat man-to-man coverage, but he also is very good at settling in on the zone, even as a rookie. 24 catches and 35 targets. That's not bad. All right. That is not bad. He played well, especially when he got the opportunity. He didn't get a ton of run, but when he started to, he played well. You have a 4 deep at wide receiver that is very good. If Deshaun Watson can't play well with these 4 guys at wide receiver, he's going to that's a bad sign. That's just the way it goes. That's not going to be a good, that's not going to be a good look. So I just think when we look at this team, when we look overall at what's going on, you have Bitonio, who's a great lineman, Pocic at center, Teller, really solid on the interior. You have the best running back in the AFC, maybe in the NFL, in Nick Chubb. He's phenomenal. I love watching that guy. What a throwback. I just absolutely love it. And now I'm telling you right now, I think Elijah Moore has a chance to just break out. Look out for him in fantasy football. He's that guy you can pick up late that I think you're going to be really happy with when you do. This is a solid receiver room that's young and hungry already. Why throw in an older guy into the mix? I know that first video I talked about how this could take it to the next level. Totally get it. Totally get it. That's on me. Short-sighted. But when you break this down, you have Amari Cooper, who's still only 28 years old, by the way. He's got another few years in him. You have Peoples-Jones, who's 24, Moore, who's going into his third year, David Bell going into his second year. There's plenty of talent already here. Let's put those resources into another position other than wide receiver, which is arguably one of the strongest positions on the team. That's what I'm saying. They are better without DeAndre Hopkins in the long run. Maybe not year one, but definitely in the long run. Tell me what you think. Hit that comment below. Please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Browns fans, dog pound. See you on the next one.